Most people think that business is really only built on strategy, but I found if you sit with founders long enough and you listen, you discover the truth that business is really built on story and the moments that truly shape us, on those dreams that we're brave enough to actually say out loud. And today's guest speaker on the Heart Led Money podcast is Eric Sattler. And Eric's a filmmaker, he's a founder, he's the storyteller behind Nvision Films. And Eric is someone who doesn't just capture stories, he restores them. He pulls founders back into the heartbeat of why they even started in the first place. He gives entrepreneurs, he gives athletes, creators permission to be seen again, not just as simple brands to make money, but as people. And underneath all that, there's a deeper dream. Eric has a dream that's rooted in community, in his childhood joy, and in giving kids the space to express who they really are. This episode is about creativity, reinvention, and resilience, and the kind of fire that only grows when you breathe life back into it. So let's step into it. Let's go behind the lens and behind the purpose with Eric Sattler. Eric Sattler, welcome to the podcast, man.
Hey, Russ, appreciate you having me, man.
So you and I met at a social event in Austin, Texas, and I'll tell you, I was immediately, captivated by the way you run your business. Why don't we just get things kicked off and you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing right now, and then we can kind of flip over into that dream you're pursuing.
Cool, yeah. Well, my name is Eric. I'm from Austin, born and raised, and still living out here. Um, I do full-time filmmaking, running a video production company. Um, Most of my stuff is founder focused, where I do meet a lot of founders, CEOs, future business owners who are looking to extend on their content, looking to learn how to take the true essence of what they do and not just sell the product, but sell themselves and what they really believe in their product. I enjoy that the most. I think that's the most heartfelt thing and the most true, honest way to operate a business and to, build community. So I took that and really highlighted it through my recent business model. Before, obviously, I came in with music videos and just shooting content for products and stuff. Um, in that time, working with the NFL, working with DraftKings, working
Awesome.
with a lot of athletes from the Texas Longhorns, just learning how to use film to make business and turn what I love doing, which is just telling stories and capturing moments. And I turned that into a full business and uh, kind of got away from the essence of like what I did, obviously to run a business and chase, the dollar, the American dream and stuff. But in there, kind of like navigated back home to like what I just love doing, which is like telling stories and showing the process. And so that's a lot of everything that I implement now, especially with the founders and help them implement that same mindset into their business.
Awesome. So I tell you, the thing that drew me to you when we first met was your focus on telling founder stories. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, um, you know, being behind the camera a lot of the times, I don't ever get to talk about my business when I'm promoting my business. A lot of it is other people's music videos or their ads or stuff that my fan base, my community of people that I've built over the years who follow me and stuff, uh, they don't always care about that stuff. They don't always
Right.
care about the clients that I work with, which respectfully I understand. And so I got lost in a lot of just like promoting their stuff. And one day it just said to me, when I'm just sitting like, how can I scale my business of, for me, where I don't necessarily just have to be a music video guy or anything like that. So I was like, well, what can I promote to make, people interested in me? And I was just looking at
Yeah.
my catalog of stuff and there's like
Yeah.
nothing of me. And I'm like, well, I'm always behind the camera. Nobody can film me or I have to pay people to film behind the scenes. And so I was just like, you know, I need to tell more of my story. So I got comfortable in front of the camera, and that took a whole process for me because
Sure
I'm
does.
behind the camera, you know. So
100%.
um, taking that whole mindset that I was in at that moment of my time and remembering the key of it was to scale and
Mhm.
not just, you know, put myself as an influencer or anything, but really scale the personal side of my business so where people don't have to focus on everything that my clients do, but they can just come to me if they're looking for a problem to, a solution to their problem. And so I just went hard on that from like 2017 on, and I focused on just how different ways I could do that. Some of it was, filming commercials with clients monthly. Some of it was going to reach out to clients and like say, "Hey, I love this story that you have. Can I film it?" And made TV shows and all this kind of stuff. So when I sat back down into my business, just recently, obviously after COVID, everything got crazy and the world kind of like reset.
Yep.
I had this epiphany one day when I was working with the production company, and I was like, now that everything is reset, we have a chance to redefine what entertainment is, whether it be on TV, it can now be on social media, it can be on YouTube platforms, it can be
For
on
sure.
your own app. And so
For sure.
I just started working with a bunch of business owners and like, hey, how can I help you build your content to a TV show style or let's produce some kind of content that where we turn these podcasts before they were like hype on the podcast, right? It was like, let's turn this podcast out into a talk show. Let's turn this into something we can put on TV and sell to the Netflixes and the Amazons. And so
Uh-huh.
the interview stuff started coming in. And then obviously, I just love hearing people's stories. And it's easy to create content from that. It's
Yeah.
easy for people that like me who don't really get a chance to talk a lot about their business and stuff, a chance to really open up and start re-triggering those moments in history that led us to these moments of where we're at now. And those stories help in business. They help tell a painting company who's been painting for 26 years. In that 26 years, all the stories and all the moments of clients and funny
Yeah.
jobs and mess ups
Yeah.
and lessons, that stuff was never being told. It was just, hey, I have the service and I can sell it to you for this $1.99. And so it was just a lot of that. And I just got tired of hearing that. And so when I approached founders with it and I approached business owners with it, they loved that idea. They finally felt like their content was theirs again. They felt like their
Right.
business was theirs. It felt, even if it was 100 views more than what they usually got, they felt like 100 more people actually heard the real story and the real truth. And that's what that's what was like success for me. And that was success
Yeah.
for them. It was taking the power away from the influencer and the social media. It was bringing it back to them and just having that confidence in your founder to lead a business like that, to lead the foundation of who they are and the message that their business wants to send. It's just powerful, and giving that
Yeah.
power back to the owner now is valuable to me.
Yeah, I mean, as a founder myself, it was an aha moment because it reminded me, well, like, why am I doing this? What was the thing that prompted me to even start this business in the first place? And so, as a reminder of that, it just kind of gave fresh energy, a whole new,
Yes,
like a fresh wind blowing through, and yeah, love it. So
exactly.
you're cranking hard. You're working the business, the film business. Tell me about the dream that we talked about right before we hit record here. We were talking about it, getting started. Tell me about your dream, your passion. What are you pursuing?
Yeah, so in the midst of everything, one day I've just realized like basketball makes me happy. But watching basketball, talking basketball, watching my kids play basketball now that they're older, wanting them to watch them want to compete. I never had an influence on it. Like I let them play soccer. I encouraged my youngest to play baseball for the longest. Like, no, go try baseball, like um and they just found their way to basketball. And obviously I watch basketball here, so I talk a lot, I get excited about basketball, and I just realized I love basketball so much that I want something in my life that owns a piece of basketball. And that was having my own rec center or my own indoor basketball court where I could host basketball events or basketball training. even shooting content for basketball players, just having that anything that I could do with basketball, I just wanted to be there. And so I realized that I need to get into sports more, sports videography, and I need to tap in with those
Okay.
community. And so I started tapping in with their community and meeting coaches and instructors and meeting directors of the school board sports and getting in with the high schools here locally and middle schools and working my way through the ranks and really learning the system and how it works and the dreams that the kids have and how they're interested in content creation and how all of that is starting to become a thing with the NIL deals. And
Yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
there's so much that I could be involved in with content that's lacking there because it was so like publication. Let me just get some shots for social media only. Let me get some pictures for the coaches and, doing posters for school and selling them to the parents and stuff. Like that's cool. I have that dream. But the other part of that is I want to bring kids in and have them do basketball camps with coaches who are skill coaches, basic training, host private events for basketball leagues. I know a lot of these parents who don't even have locations, but they want to do photo shoots for their kids who are in basketball and stuff. So there's a lot of like give back into the community that I can bring and be involved in that I would love to do. And I think
Love that.
that's something
Love
that I
that.
really like set that energy back into like what's making me happy, right? And so giving back to that part of the community in the sense of basketball, which is something I love, with the touch of film, that's something that I'm skilled at. I think it kind of built this little bubble inside of me that just been it's been building and building, and like now I see a clear picture of a building that I can rent out, do photo shoots, host events, give free days to the kids, who want to come play basketball or just get out of the streets or get out of the neighborhood or get out of the house,
For sure. Yeah.
you get some real life back into them. It just all had this
Y-
big, snowball effect. And yeah, that's the dream that I've
Yeah.
secretly been wanting for so long in my inner kid. And I found it.
So it sounds like you want to take your love for basketball and make it more about just the love of the game, which,
Yeah.
I played basketball, myself, high school, and, of course, live here in Indiana where basketball
Basketball. Yeah.
is king, but you want to, it sounds like you want to take your experience in your film business and kind of blend the two and like give kids the opportunity to promote themselves, through social, through film, as well as promote their basketball skills and kind of make them really enjoy the game at a whole new level.
Yeah, definitely. And especially now in this, content driven era, why
Yeah.
not capitalize on that moment with these kids, show them the entertainment of film side of the business that comes with being a basketball player, not only just, skills on the court, but having the ability to have media training, how to talk to the camera, how to be straightforward and take time to think about what it is that you want to say on camera so it translates well with coaches and interviews. And there's just so much that I know a camera can do for somebody, and like I saw it do for founders. It can help a kid be a founder for their own sports destiny. And whether it's them going on to have commercial deals and just be ready, or maybe they don't make that 1% of basketball players to the NBA chance that
Yeah.
happens, so maybe they do just go to good college or a community college and not be able to get a chance to play for a basketball team, but they're able to make content. They know how to make content, deliver content, be creative in the basketball realm, something that they love to do, and capitalize that from a YouTube or some kind of endorsements from that. There's plenty of good sports players like Destroying, Jesser, even like a FaZe Rug, who are gamers, who just capitalize strictly on YouTube, and they have so many
Wow.
endorsement deals and they're making millions just doing that. So there's that, and then having the ability to people to watch you grow as a kid and have basketball content from when you're in elementary AAU stuff and middle school AAU stuff to when you're full blown of a professional. You have a history of content. So the documentaries would be fire when you retire and give up basketball. Like think of LeBron James. He's been followed since
Yeah.
he was a kid. So just
Oh,
in that, you know.
I love your creativity. I mean, you have tons of ideas about this.
Oh, I'll tell you, when I get excited about one thing, it doesn't stop. And it takes somebody to be like, no, we're not gonna do that at all. And then I'll just be like, okay, what's my idea now? Like back
Yeah.
to me. I'll find a way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So your dream, your vision, the basketball rec center, which could also double as a studio where
Yeah.
you're doing your shoots, and that's fantastic. Okay, tell me about this is a tough part. Like, one of the Stoic philosophers, I think it was Marcus Aurelius, said, "What's in the way becomes the way." What is kind of the hurdle that you're facing right now to make that dream a reality?
Well, about a $500,000, that's obviously the that's the main hurdle, right? That's the one that's just like, you gotta get over this wall first, man. It takes a lot to run community-led things.
Yeah.
It takes property, it takes, city approvals, insurances, and it takes a lot of moving pieces. So obviously establishing the team and everything is for sure one of those things that's gonna be like, it's going to be the forever, hook that snatches when you're walking and you're just like, dang, I got another hole in my shirt now. It's going to be one of those things. Definitely aware of that. I think that's why right now I'm kind of like just taking the time to learn the ins and outs of the sports world,
Mhm.
the do's and the don'ts, the who's and the what's. And then, just like, let's just say like religion, right? Like you find the property, you build a church, the people come, you have a place of worship. I kind of look at it the same way as building a business. You
Mhm.
do the same process with good faith and um, definitely with community support. That's the most important thing to make this run is not only the city community, but the basketball community, the heartbeat of it all. Like watching these kids now, learning them, introducing myself to their parents, letting them know like the services that I have now obviously is like capture your kids, footage, video game, I mean basketball games, sports events, whatever. Looking from that aspect right now. So I'm definitely like just breaking ground, but essentially get to that breaking ground in real land and soil and building the facility from there. It's a lot. It's a whole process. A lot of twists, turns, ups and downs, roadblocks, avalanches. But the dream is as long as I can find a place to build it, I will build it. And so right now, whatever comes with it, I'm okay with. It's just all part of the process, and I
Yeah.
like a little bit of little bit of tough lessons sometimes.
Well, I'm feeling your energy. I'm catching it. I'm having all these, imagining because I spent countless hours in gymnasiums. The lighting is harsh. I can
Yeah.
imagine you're going to have like whether it's microphones, audio, cameras, lighting set up, so it's like this studio basketball court.
Yep.
So games just look phenomenal.
Yep. Exactly. That's the goal, right? Just to be ready for
Yeah.
showtime. Movie facilities can come use this for TV shows. Like
Oh yeah.
that's the Hollywood side of how I would connect it. And there's just
There
so
you
many
go.
like little elements that I've thought about, and I have like business proposals, but it's just obviously funding and getting to that process and someone to believe in your dream and take that to the next step that obviously I'm not born into knowing or in just in my surroundings, not really informed on who to get with and on a lot of that. It's still just a dream, so I haven't really got all the details on what I need to connect the dots. I'm
Yeah.
just focusing on what I have in front of me and where I want to be, which is the community. It's the heartbeat of all of this. And so, if I have no students that I know of, what good is a facility for me? So
Right. Yeah.
just politicking right now, shaking hands, kissing babies, as they say, right?
Take us a little deeper into your vision for the like what impact you want to have on the community.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think just having a place to escape, not have
Mhm.
like an expectation of like,
Mhm.
because I'm in this gym, I have to be, ready to compete at a high level. It's not necessarily for that. It's I'm in here because I'm allowed to be expressive, whether it is playing basketball or whether it is making content while playing basketball. Whatever the reason is that you're in this facility, you're just welcomed. And I really just want to keep it simple like that. Um, what you make of this building is up to your own expectations and your dreams, but I just want a chance, an opportunity for somebody to have that ability to be there mentally, because, like I said, a lot of people aren't grown into that availability to even go to a recreation center or sign up for a recreation because of transportation, because of
Mhm.
family needs. They may be taking care of a household at a young age and not have that have a big responsibility at home and not have the ability to do something. So having those escape moments, what I looked for when I was younger, coming up, which music was for me, and the basketball was for me, and which eventually led into everything else. It all kind of played a role in my life. So I want that. I want to give that opportunity to other people, and that's probably the most important part of all of it for me.
And it sounds like you're wanting to focus not on an uh, externally trying to tell kids what they should be.
Right.
You're trying to say, "Hey, what do you wanna be?" Coming from within them.
Right. Yeah. It's like when you go shopping for clothes. There's so many varieties, but go to that section and it has, for me, it's like the all black. Oh yeah, I love what's all in this all black section. I love this black. But you see so many different characteristics with that black shirt, so many different expressions, so many outfits that can change with it. There's so many options that, just because it's not that other option, that you could still set, the expectation of what you should, this outfit could maximize, right? That's what this is. This is
Mhm.
this creative moment, this spark that you have to be a basketball player, love promoting yourself, but you don't have a camera, don't know a camera guy. Well, you have that all here. If that's what you want to be, you're obviously shopping with us for a reason. You're in
Mhm.
our church for a reason, right? You're in our place of worship here. So just express it, be it. We all accept it. We're all here for the same reason, just different ways to get there.
Yeah. No, I love that. Tell us why this work of, starting this basketball rec center, why is it so meaningful to you?
Acceptance for
Mm.
just being different, being thinking different. It takes a lot to tell a parent, I want to be a professional basketball player or a professional content creator. It's in my time it'd have been looked at like, oh, you are crazy.
Mhm.
You are out of your mind. You are just
Yeah.
school and school only.
Right.
And when you just look at the current state of a lot of this education, and I mean, if you look at just Texas history of education, that's honestly not that great.
Mhm.
But the circumstances that come with that as well in a lot of neighborhoods is just extra for a kid. It's too
Yeah.
taxing. It's not what they're supposed to be dealing with as a kid. Yes, there's trials and tribulations, but a lot of that stuff is just circumstances, and giving a kid an opportunity to have a better circumstance, giving somebody the opportunity, just really sits, it just puts like a warm part of my heart, and it connects to me, and it connects to the feelings that I didn't want, and I just wanted to be accepted, whether it be not with just friends, but in like what I love to do. I wanted to be accepted and be a part of those communities of what I wanted. So I played my part. I served my community when I needed to. I gave
Mhm.
back. I've donated music videos. I've donated, free consultations on what you should do. When I learned
Awesome.
the entertainment business, I would come back and tell all my friends, like, hey, this is what you should think about doing with your contracts, with your money, with
Yeah.
your how you
Yeah.
prioritize. And so I've done those parts, and I've done the work, hands, blood, sweat, tears, losing, winning, just being stable, a lot of that stuff. So I want to help people get a little jump start, and not
Mhm.
necessarily cheat the system or beat the system, but understand it with real. mentorship and real people that actually want to, and we don't have a lot of those that specialize in this industry. Um, there are a lot of gatekeepers, whether it be
Yes.
in the content industry or whether it be in the sports world or whatever it is that you're in. There's just gatekeepers, and I don't want to
Yeah.
be a gatekeeper. I never have, never will. I love opportunities. I love providing business examples for people. I love showing them how to make money and profit. I just love being creative, and I think that all plays good with who I am and what I
Yeah.
believe in. So yeah,
That's
like I
cool.
said, it's just my chance to give back and do my part in this world.
One awesome. Love it. So you've already built a successful film company. As you embark and go toward this new dream, what do you tap into when things get difficult? Tell us about that.
Yeah. What I tap into, I honestly don't know. It's definitely God given. You don't really know what it is, but it's that fight
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
is hard to keep lit. It's that fire in you that is always ready to go out.
Mhm.
And when one thing about fire is it needs a lot of oxygen. It needs breathing. It needs the ability to get back into that mindset of focusing to allow enough oxygen to power the flame, but not too much to blow it out, and not reducing the amount of oxygen in your body to allow yourself to just close that flame out. And so
Mm,
breathing
love
through a
it.
lot of it is a lot of the things that I do to refocus and rebalance myself, because there is days when you're going, a month without a lot of like bill paying money, right? It's like the bills are paid, boom, and then it's done. It's like that was a slow month. And then there's months where it pays for 2 to 3 months, 4 months of living on because of the project size and everything. So
Right.
that that rebuilds that nervous system from the ground up. You're like, oh, I got a big gig, I got to focus, I got to plan, I got to do this. So I learned how to take that energy and replicate it on those days where I'm full and I'm sitting there like, okay, it was a great week. I'm tired. A lot of editing nights went into this. And then I think about that moment. Well, remember that one moment when you were like, you really need to get on it and focus. So I just reset. I take a good break. I take like a good 24-hour break of just trying not to think about nothing that I have to do. Breathe, practice my breathing, relight that flame inside of me. Remember those little moments that like you didn't want to feel no more, and just rebuild that. Don't blame yourself for them, or don't focus on them as like, oh no, that's the end all be all. But just having that ability to say, that moment, I didn't do anything. I didn't do this. I didn't relight the fire this way. Let's go attack that. Let's go create that. Let's go make a document or a workflow on how to avoid that situation again. So if you have AI, you go in there or something and say, hey, ChatGPT, give me a schedule to not be bored at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and lose hope. You know, just something as simple as that would be the case that I may do. But a lot of the times it's just having that reflective moment of like, you don't want to go back to not having a video company, not having what you call a business, not even having a dollar come in from what you do. I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm helping people in doing it. And so I think with that too, it always doesn't feel like such dreadful work if it has a little of that oxygen that feeds that fire, that fuels that fire. So yeah, that definitely helps realign me all the time.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody describe it that way, but, like, what if everybody knows when you get nervous, you breathe, and you've worked with me getting more comfortable on camera, and, you always tell me, and it's like, "Just stop thinking about it, just, say what you wanna say."
Yeah.
But that breathing, it's almost like the breathing exercises stokes gives oxygen to that internal fire.
Yeah. No,
I
exactly.
I
That's how I
never
look
thought of
at
it
it,
that
yeah.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So having built a successful film company and getting ready to, continue on towards your dream, what advice would you give people that are just getting started and haven't yet built something where they're they have their own business where they're earning their own money? What advice would you give them?
Pick up the hammer, pick up the hammer and take a swing.
Yeah.
Learn learn which motion feels good. Learn what strike hit the hardest. What learn what it just feels like to drive a nail through a piece of wood. And just doing that, whether it's firing up your webcam and just talking to yourself and recording and looking back and just being like, oh God, I look stupid doing that. Oh God, I look stupid doing. Oh God, why did I? Oh gosh, what is this? You know, uh, do that a couple times, and
Hmm.
it's like watching film and sports.
Right.
You see how you shifted your foot when he did a crossover. Don't do that no more. Just keep your foot
Exactly.
there and wait for the crossover to finish and then see what it is. It's kind of like that. You got to watch film. You have to study what it is that you believe in. You have to game plan. You have to document. You have to do all of that. And um, just knowing what it is that you're aiming for, even if it's a small goal, even if it's just, hey, how am I able to buy a camera? Learn
Mhm.
how much the camera costs, write down the price, write down what services that you can do right now to make that money and calculate it like that. And if you want to look at a grand scheme, the first thing I did when I went full time was I said, I'm making $35,000 a year doing taking pictures and doing social media posts for a company. How can I make that money by myself? So I divided it by the year and I said, okay, if I can make $100 a day, I can make, you know, $3,600. And so I was like, oh, cool. I mean, $36,000. I was like, okay, well, I can make that per year if I just do $100 a day. So my motto
Mhm.
became 100 a day, 100 a day. What could I do to make $100 a day? And I found out I can do two graphics for a single on Photoshop. I was charging $50. So I could do two of those a day. I would go find two artists a day. That would be my Monday. My Tuesday, okay, I could do a social media reel for $100. Let me do a special, two for 150. So I'll go out and film two reels, $150. So now I have Monday, Tuesday, and half of Wednesday covered in my head.
Mhm.
So I just kept doing that over and over. And then I would say, I have a gig for $500 on Saturday. Well, that's Monday through Friday covered. Now I know that Monday through Friday is covered. A little bit of that stress went off, and I was able to free flow. I was able to get back into I'm not chasing the dollar for a second. I'm chasing what I need to do next, what I need to do next. And that was just became the hustle mindset was $100 a day, 100 a day, 100 a day, 100 a day. I could survive. And that was the minimum at that time that I knew I could survive with paying bills, living comfortably like I'm doing now with this job. Boom. That was my goal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that, repetition.
Mhm,
And I used to have a basketball coach, would say, "Hey, you play like you practice.
mhm.
So if you practice hard, if you practice, the fundamentals, you do it well, you're going to play well." And so you sounded like you were just focused on the fundamental, which was 100 a day.
100 a day. Yep, yep. If I could get 100 a day, or if I could plan to have a big gig, music videos at the time where I was doing for like 500 to $750. So, if I knew I could get one of those, I was good for a week, give or take. And so even at a regular job, you have 2 days off or something in the
Yeah.
week. And so yeah, like I said, I just looked at it like that with that expectation of as long as I could plan for it and know what it is that I'm going to be, trying to make happen,
Mhm.
I can set myself up with and hold that to me like an employee's task for the week. Hey, your task for the week is to close one deal a day. If you can close one deal a day, you have a job, your salary is paid for.
Yep.
Congratulations. So I did that to myself.
Mhm.
If I want anybody yelling at me, it's just gonna be me, like
I'd much rather yell at myself than have somebody else yell at
100%,
me.
100%. Yeah, because the guy is gonna yell at you. He's gonna go back to his office, kick up his feet, and just
Yeah.
start. Why have him yell at you? Just yell at yourself. least you're forgiven for yourself.
Tell us about a project or a milestone, something that, you accomplished that you're particularly proud of, that was a turning point, in your journey thus far.
Yeah, I would say working with the NFL directly. Um, the project that we created in the time that we did was, for me as a creator in that field of sports, one, and working with my favorite team, which was the Dallas Cowboys when he was with the Cowboys at the time. um, Going to his house, working directly with the NFL, getting emails from at NFL.com,
Love it. Love it.
setting up partnerships with their partners and like, working directly with them, and just what I did with just me and one other guy, helping me with audio, writing the script for the show, writing the outline, preparing for it, putting it on my computer and sorting through the files and creating something that I filmed personally, and just that whole process. It was so big for me, and it obviously elevated to the next level of what I wanted to do, which was bring out a little bit of that founder story telling
Mhm.
story, um, into the sports world, and that helped
Yep.
me. Um, and then a little bit of give back with working with the partners to give him a whole computer setup, game room setup, working with multiple partners and coming up with ways to implement content ideas to give them back content, that they can use and market, all while learning how to film that to plan that for the actual show and not make it a
Mhm.
commercial. Learning
Mhm.
how to be creative in that, it really tests. I mean, it really put a stress test on my creative ability, because I had
Mhm.
to do it in 4 days and have it delivered in 7 days. So it was a big, big stress test, and not include filming the pickup shots that we needed for all the testimonials, and it was something that really made me hone in on my skill and my ability to take lead and take control, because this is just right after I was working for a production company, so I was always under their direction,
Mhm.
um, and I had to be trusted with them to, lead their sets and direct it and be the camera operator, making good judgments and lighting and stuff like that. That was a big thing because those were bigger clients. Those were the
Right.
Netflixes and all that stuff. So taking a little bit of that trust that they gave me, because one, I mean, I earned it. I love the fact that I earned it, but two, they also gave me an opportunity, so
Mhm.
I was able to earn that opportunity and be given an opportunity. And so when I was able to take that on with this show with the NFL, I really took control. I prepared to our first meeting to my ideas and what I thought could work with their partners and how I wanted to implement it in the show. And them just being wowed by the presentation because it was so thought out. And although it was like so much from what their initial thought of the show was going to be,
Mhm.
they really saw it as like, wow, we have a lot of opportunities here to make money or make partnership deals and make branding and content really good, that they had
Okay.
no choice to be like, let's do it.
Let's do
And
it.
so it
Yeah.
kind of flipped. And I took that from what I was working with the entertainment company, the production
Right.
company, because I learned how about contract deals. I learned about entertainment deals and value to your content, how to make that and capitalize into bigger dollars. I took that thought process and I brought it over here and I ran with it in my own meaning and my own trust, and it worked. And so it really just put this fire. It really, I mean, it put a big fire under me. Probably one of the biggest to this day that I'm the most proud of. I showcase it still. Um, it wasn't like Netflix or nothing like that. It was raw reality TV, and it's something that
Mm.
just changed the way that I saw my business, and I wanted it to be like I could see my business do this, and so it rebranded me into a better way, and I'm thankful for that. Like it's like I said, it was really that one pivotal moment that I was just like, There it is. This is me right here in a nutshell.
Yeah, you brought out an awesome point, an excellent point I want to highlight, which is what's been so hard for me is, you see somebody's good idea and you want to imitate it.
Mhm.
You want to do it like they're doing it because, oh, well, it was successful for them. So I'm going to, imitate, I'm going to copy. But it's more like take their idea or take not their idea, take an idea,
Mhm.
make it your own,
Yeah.
and put it into your own voice, your own creativity, and apply it that way. That's exactly what you've been doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely the change that really flipped the business.
Hmm.
Like I said, becoming not just showcasing music videos for other people. It was because I've always the reason why the music video people worked with me for so long is because I love to tell stories. Like they had an
Hmm.
idea, and I was like, well, let's just turn it into a story. Let's have a point A, point B, point C. Let's
Hmm.
go from there. Let's have movement. Let's tell the little story inside of there. And that's why they came to me. It wasn't just performances and stuff. And so it's always been my
Sure.
thing. I just never noticed it until
Yeah.
I started understanding film and understanding how to sell film and how to sell the content and writing my own movies and stories. And I started learning, like, wow, I really love doing this. And it reflects back to being a kid when I used to just sit in my room alone and write stories about, random things in my head and write poetry and write then which eventually became writing raps and writing um, you know, show productions and then writing TV show deals and then writing, yeah, it just grew. And then I started noticing like it really filled that early kid part of me that I missed when I was really expressive, but it was a controlled expressive due to environments and stuff. And I
Right.
couldn't fully be that. And so
Right.
again, that's where everything is just built from. It's just remembering those feelings of pure, genuine being a kid, right? It's like so pure
Childhood
and
joy.
genuine. Yeah. And it's so
Yeah.
pure. And I
Yeah.
miss that. And so I think if we could all bring back some of that little pureness into our business and to our personal
Hmm.
lives, we'll find success because it's what's natural to us. And we're not over trying anything that's ridiculous. We may
Yeah.
have businesses that operate that way. There may be streams of income that operate that way. And that's fine.
Hmm.
That's life. But having the ability to have that one thing that really taps into who you are and who your community should be around you or you want your community around you to be and focusing on that, I think that's just a gift and a blessing, and that's something that I don't take for granted, and I want to share it with the world, so I find my ways to.
Nice. Nice. So is there anything you can tell us that you're willing to share that you're working on right now that's up and coming that you want to share with people?
Yeah, so right now, I am obviously working with a bunch of local business founders. I help them day to day doing stuff with sports athletes still. We plan to pick some of that back up. I was just speaking with some of those connections yesterday. And so we're kind of game planning to bring that back around. So I'm looking forward to bringing back with the athletes again.
Nice.
And right now, I am currently giving back to the video community in different ways. So I'm tapping back in with the music artist. I created what I have is called the real world.live, and it is a website where we showcase music talent, local talent in a live stream TV channel essence. Think like MTV, where you can go and watch music videos and you can watch some cool interviews and sit downs.
Hmm.
I'm kind of rebuilding that structure online. I'm doing it with my local scene now, obviously, because I have contacts with a lot of them and I've worked directly. I have the content to use, and it's just been sitting on YouTube, collecting dust. So uh, I'm, I'm adding the abilities in there to donate to these artists. So if you like their music while it's playing, you can do a live donation and it tracks how much they've been donated to by the community. So that's transparency, almost like some crypto kind of thought process
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
everybody can see. Um, it's that same essence where it's real money though. It's like real donations, and Once they hit $150 donation from the community, they get paid out. And once they get paid out, it's almost going to be like a 90-10 split. They take the 90% of it, the 10% just comes back into the business to help it operate
Yeah.
monthly and stuff like that. So I'm looking to do different stuff like that, building the real world live, building that OTT channel. And for the film community, I built an online calculator with helpmefilm.com. And it allows people who are ready to take their creative business from filming into a business world and learn how to price, learn how to quote
Mm.
and send invoices, learn how to manage a
Mhm.
team, payouts, stuff like that. So that website, helpmefilm.com, kind of helps people like that ready to, hey, I don't know what to charge this people, because I get this question all the time from my
Right.
videographer community. Is like, hey, I got this event coming. I don't know how much to charge. This is what they're asking. And I just say, numbers are made up. At the end of the day, a number is made up. Two things are made up in this number. One, the value of your time, and
Mhm.
two, the value of your business.
Mhm.
And so in that obviously is the experience and everything that comes with all that. But how much do you value your business? Do you want to make a profit, or do you just want to be able to sustain business and hire people and just make transactions and build a clientele and stuff like that? So it has different pay options on how you want to approach it. If you're a professional, if you're a new beginner, it just gives real world expectations from my uh, industry. It
Mhm.
shows what people around are paying. It shows what people around are charging. And I think that's very important because a lot of work goes into our content when we film, but we also forget that a lot of work goes in when we're editing and we're planning. And people really take in when you're a great editor versus just putting together something. There's a different dynamic, and all that stuff needs to be accounted for from our industry. And it's a lost essence due to the influencer era. People kind of take advantage of how hard it is to really create content on a
Yeah.
consistent basis. And I love showing people how hard it is. I encourage people to try it themselves and do it. One, it helps me translate the pain that sometimes I'm feeling when, like, man, I just can't find this good edit for this right now. So give me some time. Um, other verses just color grading, framing, finding a story that really tells how to cut up a story and make it very translatable to what you're trying to say to your community. How to do that in an edit is a masterful art in itself. That's why there's editors, and then there's directors, and then there's camera
Mhm.
operators. Everybody has a
Mhm.
job. Not everybody loves doing the other job. A lot of
Right.
freelancers do, but when you get into the industry, a director hardly is ever going to touch a mouse to make a
Mhm.
edit. He's going to tell
Mhm.
somebody to edit because his mind is on his job, not the
Mhm.
editor's job. And so,
Mhm.
uh, understanding that importance, that is a reality in a lot of the business, not just meeting somebody and saying, hey, I want to film content for you and putting it out. There's a lot of thought process that really goes behind the people that take care and take pride in that. And I want people to value that process a lot more than just to go get the dollar. Even if it is just hiring on, man, just
Yeah.
hire the right team to deliver the message, do the job at its possible best. If you're only making $50 or $100, so be it. Just do the job, do it well, and make sure that that person is happy. That's why I created that, because it allows that non-biased number to step in and say, hey, this is the true value. Let your client know, let your business know that this is a non-biased number. Work with it,
Yep.
deal with it,
Third
blah,
party.
blah, blah. So those are my two main, give back to the communities,
Love it.
um, tools to help my clients. Also, I have the streameru.live, which helps people do live streaming practice.
Mhm.
Um, has AI bots that talk to you, and you can voice activate commands certain things in there. It allows you just to see yourself in playback film as you're recording, and to see what you look like, see what your poses that you like, what side of the face do you like on your camera, practice your lighting.
Yeah.
practice the interaction, reading the chat while you're talking about your stuff, because that's a very important part of live streaming. So that's media training tools that I built that are all free. And all the real world live, the real world dot live is the feedback to showcase all of that. So yeah, that's just where I'm doing. I'm finding my way to navigate back and give some of the experience that I've given that I've learned and share it back with the community.
Love those projects. How else can people support the work you're doing and even connect with you directly?
Yeah, so I have two websites. My main portfolio, which is my company, envisionfilms.com. That is the main source where I have all my work and kind of the whole philanthropy part of what I do with the kids and educating and the speaking at events and stuff. And then for those that are looking to actually book, you can do it on there. Or like you need filming, you can get on my website, www.ineedfilming.com. And if you're interested in booking, you can select what kind of project you have, what kind of budget that you're working with, and we will receive it and we will have the ability to accept it or negotiate with you like, hey, that's too much, we can do this for this price for you, or hey, that's not enough, that's it needs a little bit more for this price. So it's all instant reaction, instant notifications with the booking. If you're interested, we do everything, but our main focus is really founders and founders stories, but we do have services for everybody. If you are looking for any kind of video needs, obviously, we
Yeah,
do that and very well.
of course. And I'm going to give a personal testimony here with Heart Led Money because you and I have worked together. And I tell you, one of the core principles that I tell people in any business, whether you're an employee, a business owner, an employer, you're always going to try to give more value than cash value received. In other words, you're going to try to give somebody more value than they're paying you. And I can tell you 100%, working with you, you have given me more value than the cash
Thank you.
value or the cash, the price, that we agreed on. So I want to thank you, Eric, for, helping me
Thank
get
you.
started, helping Heart Led Money find its voice, helping, really to fine tune the focus, fine tune, what the message is. And it's
Thank you.
been a tremendous help, man. So thanks for being on the podcast. Really appreciated having this conversation.
I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the kind words. And it's been a joy working with you. I really did see a growth from the first day that we even met at the Screen event to
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, just watching your content that you've created after we did our initial filming for the first part of it. Watching you film now and watching the confidence, I could see it. Like I told you, man, I could just see it over the camera. It's very, 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 very well evolved from where you first started. You're just doing great, man. Like I said, the content looks good. The reception of the content has been well. I had people say, "Hey, that video that you posted right there, is that your work?" Because I was shared on my stories and stuff, and they're interested in financial advice. So I've led them to you as well and told them to
Sure.
follow you for your insights and your stuff like that. So I think that's been cool to watch my network slowly
Mhm.
find its way to you, especially because you
Absolutely.
do artist financial
Mhm.
advice, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love to give, financial advice, or it's really not financial advice. It's more about helping people find the knowledge, the intuition they already have and making good financial decisions. But especially with people that are passionate about, what they're doing, they want to pursue a passion and earn money doing it, and
Yeah.
rather than just cranking that 9 to 5 and whatever soul sucking type of work that really just drains people. And you can see it. I love to help people find a way to use money to pursue their passions and their dreams, live a fulfilled life. So yeah, artists are a key part of that, no doubt about it. And I've just really appreciated, being able to to tell people like, hey, yeah, I'm working with my creative director. All of a sudden it was like, I'm a legit, business here doing real stuff. And that was powerful just to be able
Yes.
to say that. And, for us to meet up and do the film shoots that we did here in Indiana. And that was really powerful. So again,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
No, definitely it takes a team, but like I said, it also takes that want to be in front of the camera and take the critiques and take the advice and just to really take the time because re coming from the ground up is hard for any
Mhm,
business. Starting that first 30 days of like planning and posting and being watching yourself for the first time take over a feed, and every time you're scrolling you're just seeing your face and you're like, what's going on? It takes a lot to see that, and it takes a lot of just the mirror to you, right? Turning the mirror to
mhm,
yourself, and that's that's just 99% of this battle that a
mhm,
lot of people need to accept in a way, because if you're going to be on social media, unless you're just
mhm,
showing your plate of food or the vacation spots,
mhm,
if you're there to tell a story and tell the brand, just get in front of that camera. And Russ is a perfect example of when I tell people, like, Russ was one of the guys that he went in shy. Like, even when I met you, you were quiet. You were to yourself. I really didn't hear you. I saw you speaking, but it was more so on just that. It wasn't necessarily like the power that you come through with when you talk about stuff with Heartland. When we sat down and you were like, I mean, I got a lot to talk about with Heartland. I got a lot of information on this section, and we can go on and on. And I want to cover this. I knew then that you were ready to
mhm.
tell that story,
The
that
story.
process. Yes, you were ready to, and I think that's what more people need to just tap into. Just have that want and that will to be able to tell that story. It makes my job easier, obviously, but two, it's just coming off so much better now. Like I could see the new content. Just like I said, when you got in the truck and you were like, all right, yeah, this is how it is. Like I knew, I knew right there, like Russ has found this new fire inside of him. And I think you kind of mentioned it when you said when you were, refocusing, realigning, and talking about the founder stories and bringing up some of that old past stuff that got you started in this. It relit that excitement, and that's exactly what that's exactly what I was looking for when I did this, and why I started doing this with founders, because that same response is what they tell me, and some of it's not as direct. Some of it's just like, wow, I love doing this again. Even
Mhm,
just that little sentence goes a long way for me, because it's exactly what I want. I want that first joy of like, I need to start a business, need to get an LLC, need to make a logo, I need to do this. I need that excitement of having something new can go into everything that you do for this business. And you just have
mhm.
to re-tap into those emotions when you're dialing in specifically for that topic of or that project that you're ready to release. Um, I think that's
Yeah.
something great. And just watching that come out of from what you've been doing, and man, it's just been fun to watch. And like I said, it's you're one of my favorite people that I've worked with, and just to talk to about it. And
Thank you.
I think you take it real serious, and to me that means the world to me, because watching just watching, like I said, watching you take the steps and look at the calendar and say, hey, I missed this day, be worrying about that because you missed a day, but you make it up with something else. Like you just sticking to that, it's a sports thing, I think, honestly, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
You
the
don't
job.
stop. You just keep going. You just keep
Yeah,
going.
exactly. And
You miss a day, okay, you pick it up again the next day, or you miss a couple days, you pick it up. And you were just very encouraging because what I had to get over was, I was coming up with this new idea that I didn't see anywhere else out there in the world. And I just had to get comfortable with like, this is who I am, this is me. And it really doesn't matter what other people say, what other people think, because it's their issue, their lens, it's their whatever their background and how they're looking at it. It doesn't really matter because this is what is coming from within me and from inside me. And your encouragement to just keep at it, find that emotional, tap into that emotion where it's coming from within you and you're not thinking about it. The more you think about it, the more you get concerned about what other people are going to think about it, and then you're hosed, you're trashed right
Yeah,
then.
become discouraged so quick. You are
Yeah,
you're already looking. Most of us, when we do stuff that we're not comfortable with, we're already looking for that reason to back out. We're already
yeah,
looking for that one thing, like, oh, okay, I don't have to do it. It's cool. I'll do it
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
And
It's not perfect.
it's
Everything's
yeah,
not perfect, so I
it's
can't do it.
yeah, and removing that, I think that's where I like to step in. Is just like, no, 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 no. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it right now. You're gonna stress through it, and we're gonna do it 50 times. I'm here all day.
Yep.
What else are we gonna do? Sit around and talk about what we could have done with no, no, let's just do it. And
Yeah.
we'll find a
Keep
way
the
to use it.
keep the camera rolling
Yeah,
and just keep going. Yeah,
just
I love
talk.
it.
Yeah. So
Just talk.
my key to everybody out there who's just getting started to making the content is you're not live. And I tell this to everybody, we're not live. Nobody's going to see
Mhm,
this until you cut it up, you edit it, and you publish it. So
mhm,
remember that. Do as many takes as you want. Look
mhm,
stupid. Make all your facial expressions. Get all the "uhs" out of your mouth. Get all that stuff out of your face. Loosen up the face. Breathe. Relax. You're not live. Press record and just talk. Talk until you're tired of hearing yourself talk, and find
mhm.
something in there and publish it and force yourself to just love it. Love it because it's step one.
Yeah, yeah. Eric, thanks. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, Russ, I always appreciate it, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
anytime.
What I love about Eric's story is this. He reminds us that purpose isn't something that you find just once. It's something that you return to again and again as you evolve. And it takes courage to build a business, and it takes even more courage to then reimagine it, to follow that thread of what lights you up, and to admit you want more than the grind, more than just chasing the dollar. And what you really want is impact. And Eric, he taught us that this story is strategy, or that story is strategy, that creativity is legacy, and that sometimes the most important step you can take is just simply picking up the hammer, taking the swing, and trusting the rhythm that builds from there. If something in this conversation stirred something in you, please don't ignore it. That spark matters. Breathe, give it oxygen, let it grow. And Eric, thank you for your heart and your vision and the reminder that we all have a dream that's worth building. And to you listening, may you honor the story that made you and the future that's calling you forward. And until next time, remember to lead with your heart and not your fear.